It feels way too soon to be doing my April wrap-up already, but here we are. So the first book I read in the month of April was The Rose and the Dagger by Renee Ahdieh, and I do have a very short duology review for this set, so I'm not really going to talk too much about this, but I do have to say I think the second book was a really great ending to this duology. I love how it's more of a slow-paced fantasy and it's really based on the story and not the action, so I just thought it was a really nice change of pace. Overall, 4 out of 5 stars to this book and then the duology as a whole. Next, I read Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes, and this is the first book in I think it's 4 or 5 books of hers in this series, and I had heard so many good things about this book, but for some reason I just didn't like the cover of this book, and the cover made me feel like it was going to be just your typical standard fantasy book, nothing really special, and I was really pleasantly surprised. So I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, and it really had like a winner's curse kind of feel for me, which I absolutely loved that series, which I read the full series last summer, and I love how this book just kind of made me feel that same way again. Also, there are just a lot of characters to fall in love with. Next, I read Big Little Lies because that has been all the rage. I haven't yet watched the HBO series, but I really want to watch it, especially after reading this book, because it is a book I can tell would make a great transition into a TV show, so definitely want to check that out. But I think I gave it 4 stars, although it's like an upper 3-star read for me. It just kind of was middle of the road, and I think it's because a lot of the drama, this kindergarten mom drama, I just found wasn't worth my time reading. A lot of this plot was just not super interesting to me or super engaging to me. Celeste was by far my favorite character. I absolutely loved her story. If this whole book could have just been about her, I would have been more than happy, but I just didn't feel a connection to some of the other characters, which is why I couldn't fully get into it. So I enjoyed the story, want to watch it as a TV show, but I just can't give it a 5-star rating like I've seen so many others do. Next, I listened to Room on audiobook. This was part of my spring TBR, so I finally gotten into one of my books. I actually loved how this book takes place in the springtime, which I didn't know that it did. So overall, this is probably a 4-star read, although if I had actually read the book versus listening to it, I may have given it 5 stars. A little caution if you are thinking about listening to this as an audiobook. It is narrated from Jack's perspective. The voice actor talks in a baby-ish voice, which I kind of got over a little bit as I was reading along, but it did detract something for me from the story. I didn't really like the baby talk sound that was coming from this voice actor, and it just kind of ruined a little bit of the book for me. Beyond that, I think this was a really interesting book. So if you've heard about it, I mean, it's been out for quite a while now. This young woman is abducted and she is forced to live in a room, and she has a child named Jack. And so this is when Jack turns 5 years old and their kind of story from there. And I don't want to give anything away because I went into it only knowing that part. I expected some of the things to happen way further down the line, and I think I even expected a lot more of difficulty to come out of some situations. So I was pleasantly surprised that some of these things didn't drag out as much as I was anticipating, but it was really kind of a painful read. I mean, I really want to watch the movie, especially after reading this book, and just see how it is done. And finally, I've reread A Quart of Mist and Fury in preparation for ACOWAR, which I am so excited for. And this time around, I bought the book on my Kindle because I actually got a new Kindle, which I'm so excited about. It's the Kindle Paperwhite, and I actually also got this really cute case on Walmart.com. It had free shipping and it was $13, so hello. It's beautiful. It has like the magnetic little clasp thing here. Does that cool thing and your Kindle turns off. But I've been really liking this Kindle Paperwhite, so I've been reading A Quart of Mist and Fury on it, and I really like it because I've been going through and adding notes and comments and just highlighting the crap out of this book on my Kindle. Rereading it, it's almost better the second time around, which is like crazy to think about because I absolutely loved this book the first time that I read it, but you know so much more, and so you can pick out more details, and I just oh, it's so exciting. I love it. So that wraps it up for my April wrap-up video. I really liked most of the books that I read this month, as you can tell. So let me know what you read in the month of April and if you are planning on reading ACOWAR as soon as it gets released. Thank you for watching and happy reading.